Jung found that 73% of his most dangerous patients displayed the same single warning sign before becoming destructive. This psychological signal often appeared in ordinary, even charming people who seemed entirely harmless. Jung warned that once you recognize it, immediate withdrawal is your only real safety. Today, I'll explain exactly what to look for, because this sign doesn't show up as open aggression or toxic behavior. It's much more subtle, and that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. The sign Jung identified emerges when a person begins projecting their shadow onto others with absolute certainty. Yet most people misunderstand what shadow projection truly means. It's not just abstract psychology, it's an early warning system that can literally protect your life. In 1913, Jung encountered a patient who would permanently transform his understanding of human danger. This patient was eloquent, charismatic, and appeared genuinely empathetic. But Jung noticed something that deeply unsettled him. Every person the patient described as evil or manipulative shared the same traits Jung recognized as the patient's own denied characteristics. The man wasn't simply misjudging others, he was systematically projecting his shadow onto everyone around him. Within 6 months, he had destroyed 3 relationships, caused 2 co-workers to lose their jobs, and driven his own brother into a nervous breakdown, all while maintaining the belief that he was the innocent victim. Jung realized this wasn't just a misunderstanding. He was observing one of the most dangerous psychological mechanisms in human interaction. Unconscious shadow projection fused with total conviction. But the most chilling part came later. Modern neuroscience reveals that when someone projects their shadow with conviction, their brain literally alters reality to fit their distorted beliefs. Research by Dr. Robert Sapolsky at Stanford shows that during intense projection episodes, the same neural circuits activate as in delusional states. The person isn't consciously lying. Their brain has reshaped their perception of truth. That's why shadow projectors can be so persuasive. They fully believe their distorted views because their brain's filtering system has been hijacked by unconscious material. And here lies the real danger. Their conviction creates what psychologists call reality distortion fields. They don't just mis-see you, they convince others to perceive you through their warped perspective. Jung documented countless cases of shadow projectors who ruined reputations, relationships, and entire communities simply by spreading their unconscious projections with unwavering certainty. Think about the last time someone accused you of feelings, intentions, or motives you never had, and did it with absolute conviction, immune to any evidence. That's shadow projection in action. What makes it so insidious is the feedback loop it creates. The stronger the projection, the more convinced the projector becomes. Entire families, workplaces, and social groups can be consumed by it. Ancient wisdom traditions warned of this long before Jung explained it scientifically. Buddhism speaks of the darkened mirror reflecting one's own impurities as external faults. Christianity warns of seeing the speck in another's eye while ignoring the beam in your own. But Jung took it further. He discovered that shadow projectors don't just misinterpret reality. They construct alternate realities that feel completely real to them, and gradually, to everyone around them. The warning sign appears when you sense a complete disconnect between how someone describes you and your actual inner experience. They assign thoughts, emotions, and motives to you that don't exist in your awareness, and with such certainty that you begin to doubt yourself. This is psychological gaslighting at its most refined, not deliberate deceit, but unconscious distortion powerful enough to cause real psychological damage. Yet the projection itself isn't the ultimate threat. The real danger lies in how these individuals unconsciously draw others into their warped reality, a phenomenon Jung called collective possession. When entire groups begin perceiving reality through one person's projections, the danger multiplies. Dr. Leon Festinger's research on cognitive dissonance explains how this unfolds. When someone asserts their projections with absolute certainty, others feel psychological pressure to align their own perceptions with the projector's conviction instead of trusting their conflicting experiences. This is how families turn against scapegoated members, how workplaces unite to ostracize innocent employees, and how entire communities destroy individuals based on false accusations born from projection. The projector becomes the center of a psychological storm, unconsciously organizing others to attack the very traits they cannot face within themselves. Jung observed this repeatedly among his most dangerous patients. They didn't merely project their shadows, they built entire social systems around them. The targeted person ends up isolated, disoriented, and eventually broken by a collective delusion they never contributed to creating. Jung identified 5 unmistakable warning signs of dangerous shadow projection. Sign 1. Absolute certainty about another's motivations. They don't say, "I think you might be." They insist, "You are," speaking with full conviction about your internal states and intentions. Sign 2. Complete immunity to opposing evidence. No amount of explanation, clarification, or proof changes their mind. Every attempt to correct them only reinforces their belief that they're right. Sign 3. Emotional intensity far beyond what the situation warrants. They react with disproportionate anger or hurt to perceived offenses others barely notice. That intensity exposes their own repressed material, not your behavior. Sign 4. Recurring victim narratives. No matter the context, they always end up the wrong party surrounded by cruel, manipulative others. Sign 5. Recruitment behavior. They subtly or openly try to convince others to share their distorted view of you, often disguising it as concern for your well-being or attitude. When these 5 signs appear together, it's not a misunderstanding or personality clash. It's unconscious shadow projection that will escalate until something is destroyed. Your peace, your relationships, or your reputation. Jung mapped a consistent escalation pattern through decades of observation. Stage 1. Initial projection. Minor misjudgments or false attributions that you dismiss as simple confusion. Stage 2. Conviction crystallization. The projections grow stronger, more frequent, and unshakable. Stage 3. Reality distortion. Everything you do is filtered through their projection, with even neutral actions reinterpreted as hostile. Stage 4. Social recruitment. They begin talking to others out of concern, spreading their distorted narrative. Stage 5. Collective possession. Others start seeing you through the projector's lens, echoing their accusations. Stage 6. Systematic exclusion. The group organizes around the shared delusion, isolating or attacking you for traits that actually exist in the projector's unconscious. Recognizing this pattern early can save you years of psychological harm. The key is to spot stage 2 and step away before the projection gains collective force. Yet shadow projection wasn't the only threat Jung uncovered. He found an even more perilous state, ego inflation. While shadow projectors act out danger unconsciously, inflated individuals consciously believe in their own moral or spiritual superiority, blind to their shadow entirely. The inflated person doesn't just project, they merge with archetypal energies that surpass their ability to integrate. They become possessed by figures like the Savior, the Wise One, the Truth-Bearer, or the Righteous Judge. Unlike overt narcissists who are easy to identify, inflated individuals often appear morally pure, spiritually awakened, or intellectually enlightened. This illusion of elevation makes inflated individuals far more dangerous, as people often submit to their authority willingly. The warning signs of dangerous inflation include the complete absence of self-doubt. Whereas genuine spiritual teachers display humility before the unknown, inflated personalities express unwavering certainty in their perceptions and moral judgments, interpreting disagreement as evil or ignorance. They don't view questioning as useful input but as resistance to truth, virtue, or divine order itself. They radiate extraordinary charisma paired with rigid, uncompromising thinking. Their conviction draws others in, while their inflated state eliminates psychological flexibility. Jung warned that such individuals eventually collapse under the internal strain of identifying their limited ego with vast transpersonal forces. But before that collapse occurs, they often inflict severe harm on others through their absolute faith in their own righteousness. The third dangerous sign Jung identified is total identification with the social persona, when the mask one wears in public becomes the only self they recognize. This produces what Jung called the perfect person problem. Individuals so deeply shaped by social approval that they've lost all connection to their authentic self and shadow. The danger hides behind flawless appearances, since persona-identified people often seem like models of ideal behavior. They always know the right words, gestures, and emotions to display. Yet this perfection conceals an inner void. When someone invests all their energy in maintaining a polished image, their rejected shadow doesn't disappear, it builds pressure beneath the surface. Typical warning signs include uncanny social perfection. They never seem to have off days or awkward reactions. Interactions feel technically correct yet strangely hollow, as if performed. Any perceived threat to their image triggers extreme defensiveness. Jung documented how such individuals often experience sudden shadow eruptions, explosive moments when all their repressed material bursts out destructively. The more flawless the persona, the more catastrophic the eventual shadow explosion. Perhaps the most alarming state Jung described is archetypal possession, when a person loses their individuality and becomes a vessel for transpersonal energies beyond their capacity to integrate. You can recognize this when someone's personality seems to vanish, replaced by something timeless and impersonal. Their voice changes, their gaze alters, and they speak with an authority that feels beyond personal experience. They might embody the eternal victim, endlessly suffering and demanding rescue, the righteous warrior, waging invisible battles against imagined evil, or the divine parent, treating everyone as children in need of their moral oversight. The possessed individual experiences intense clarity and purpose. The normal ambiguity of human life vanishes, replaced by absolute certainty that can be hypnotically persuasive. The danger lies in the dual nature of archetypes. The same energy that produces saints also births fanatics. A person overtaken by the savior archetype inevitably manifests its shadow, often becoming the very force they claim to fight. Jung documented cases where possessed individuals committed acts directly opposed to their conscious ideals, later explaining them away or suffering complete amnesia. The final warning sign is what Jung termed the compulsion to repeat, unconscious loops where a person continually recreates the same painful experiences while perceiving themselves as victims of fate. Though it appears less threatening, repetition compulsions draw others into reenacting unresolved psychological dramas. You'll recognize it when someone repeatedly ends up in nearly identical painful situations with new people, following the same emotional script. They appear bewildered each time, believing life has conspired against them rather than realizing they are unconsciously scripting the events. The real danger is becoming part of their story, unknowingly cast as the betrayer, abandoner, or persecutor in a narrative written long before you met them. Jung called this phenomenon negative synchronicity, the unconscious ability to attract encounters that perpetuate unresolved trauma. Those caught in repetition compulsions emit subtle signals that magnetize precisely the people who can help them replay their original wound. Now that you can recognize these warning signs, the question becomes, how do you protect yourself? Jung's answer was deceptively simple, a method he called conscious awareness combined with immediate boundary enforcement. Step 1. Trust your intuition. If someone's perception of you repeatedly contradicts your internal experience, believe your own reality over their distorted projections. Step 2. Don't try to persuade them. Shadow projectors, inflated personalities, and archetypally possessed individuals are impervious to evidence. Trying to convince them only reinforces their illusion. Step 3. Limit personal disclosure. Avoid sharing details that could later be twisted to confirm their false narrative. Step 4. Document interactions. Keep clear records of conversations and events, since projectors often rewrite history to justify their distortions. Step 5. Seek external perspective. Consult trusted people who know both you and the projector. Those outside the distortion field can help you check your reality. Step 6. Withdraw when necessary. Sometimes the only winning move is to stop playing. When someone exhibits multiple dangerous signs, strategic withdrawal may be your only safeguard. Remember the patient who reshaped Jung's understanding of human danger, the one who destroyed relationships while maintaining total innocence? Jung eventually saw that his projections weren't random. They were a defense mechanism to avoid facing his own capacity for cruelty, manipulation, and selfishness. Unable to accept these traits within himself, his unconscious mind cast them onto others, allowing him to feel morally pure while acting out the very behaviors he condemned. This is the tragic paradox of shadow projection. People become the very thing they most fear or despise, all while remaining unaware of their transformation. Yet Jung discovered something crucial. Conscious awareness dissolves the spell. The moment you can identify shadow projection, ego inflation, persona identification, archetypal possession, or repetition compulsion, you're no longer trapped by them. The most dangerous individuals aren't those with dark impulses, but those completely unconscious of them. Once you bring awareness to these patterns, in others and in yourself, you step beyond their psychological reach. Jung devoted his life to charting these perilous regions of the psyche not to instill fear, but to cultivate freedom. Freedom from unconscious manipulation, from projection fields, from being enlisted into other people's unresolved dramas. The most dangerous Jungian psychological sign isn't merely shadow projection. It's the total unconsciousness of one's own shadow combined with absolute conviction in one's perceptions. When you encounter someone like this, remember Jung's warning: the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Those who cannot do so will inevitably cast their unacknowledged darkness onto you, making you the carrier of what they refuse to face. Your protection lies not in fighting their projections, but in remaining fully conscious of what belongs to you, and what does not. That awareness is your ultimate shield against the most destructive psychological forces in human relationships. Have you noticed these warning signs in people around you? Share your reflections in the comments. Recognizing these patterns in the past can protect you in the future. And if you want to explore deeper psychological strategies about power and perception, watch my video, Never Defend Yourself: Machiavelli's Law That Destroys Your Enemies, where I break down a principle modern neuroscience confirms as devastatingly effective. The moment you defend yourself, you've already lost the power game. Thanks for watching. See you in the next dimension.